Thanks to the HomePod Mini, Apple has almost doubled its share of the smart speaker market. All that means to me, as a HomePod user, is that's good news for the future of the product. It made me think about all the ways myself and my family use the HomePod in our lives. So in this video, I'm gonna go through all my favorite uses for the HomePod. The first one is for smart home commands. While there are definite downsides to using HomeKit, like the limited amount of devices available, it's still a pretty great smart home platform. You can compile all your devices, scenes, automations in one app and easily share that with other people. All of this is then automatically available to the HomePod. So you can do things like, hey, turn on the kitchen lights or turn on the air conditioning. In many situations, it can be really nice, really convenient to just shout things into the air and have what you want just happen. For some reason, the HomePod at times can be really slow at executing these commands though. When I set the same scene using my iPhone, it's almost instant. The next of my favorite uses is timers. One area of the home that many people choose to plug their smart speaker in is in the kitchen. This is an ideal space for timers to be used. You can use the HomePod to set a number of different timers at once, and you can name them so you know which one is which when they go off. Again, the appeal here is being able to set the timer hands-free. Literally, while you're putting dinner in the oven, you can get the timer going. You can always ask Siri how much time is left, but the nice thing about timers on the HomePod is that they show up in the Home app, so you can check the progress there also. I do wish Apple would take this a bit further though, and maybe have the timer show up on the iPhone's home screen. Or maybe I can check the timer status from a different HomePod. Or it would be really nice if they could have some sort of indicator on the HomePod itself. Or I guess, maybe just make a HomePod with a screen. My next favorite use for the HomePod is for ambient sounds. My wife likes to have some ambient sounds on while she sleeps. So we put a HomePod Mini on the nightstand next to the bed so she can play rain sounds every night. Overall, this works great, but I do wish Apple would let you start these ambient sounds using shortcuts. I have a good night scene that I run every night that turns off all the lights. It would make sense for me to also be able to start playing the rain sounds at a specific volume at the same time that I set that scene. The other reason for this is because Siri always responds to this command. It's not a big deal, but I really don't need a confirmation. Just play the sound. That's confirmation enough. Intercom is one feature that I'm trying to use more myself. This basically lets you use your HomePods as walkie-talkies, but you can take it even further and also send messages to other devices like iPhones, Apple Watches, and even CarPlay devices. Maybe you know your husband or wife is driving home, but you want to send them a quick message. You can intercom them and it'll play in their car if they have CarPlay. The other obvious use here is that you can let everyone know that maybe dinner is done. Obviously, you'll need to have a lot of Apple devices to get the most out of this. Maybe not an everyday feature, but I think it has its uses. Besides intercom, one of the best reasons to buy multiple HomePods is because it can easily create a whole home speaker system. Whether you use handoff or Siri to get the music started, it's just as easy to play whatever you're playing in multiple rooms. You can select individual speakers from Control Center, or you can use Siri with commands such as play this upstairs or stop playing this in the bedroom. It's crazy how easy it is to move what you want to listen to around your house, and everything just stays in sync. Next is using the HomePod with your TV, or an Apple TV specifically. I've made a few videos about how this works because I like the feature. I use 2 HomePods as my TV speakers every day. Overall, it's good. The sound quality is great, but it does come with some minor issues. Sometimes the audio is a little out of sync, even after I've tried the calibration. And lately, one of the HomePods will just cut out for a second and then it'll just go back to normal. They have enough issues where I'm kind of constantly thinking about replacing them, but not enough that I've actually bought anything yet. Besides just using them as a speaker though, you can start playing shows using Siri. So you can walk in the room and turn on your TV and say, watch Ted Lasso, and it'll just turn on and start playing. This is in addition to basic commands like play, pause, and turn off the TV. These conveniences are the reason I put up with the minor issues, so I hope things continue to get better. Finally, the last favorite use for the HomePod is personal requests. This is a feature that Apple really has an advantage with because so many people have iPhones. It's so easy to ask Siri on the HomePod to set a reminder, make a note of something, or send a message. Recently, I've really been liking making and answering calls using my HomePod. It knows who is making the request so it can get everything right depending on who is asking. On top of that, you can also run any shortcuts you have made. One example that came in handy for me was logging diaper changes for my daughter. We used an app to keep track of everything, and I had a shortcut set up so I could just tell Siri to log a diaper change. To me, personal requests are really where the HomePod makes you feel like you're living in the future. One of the biggest reasons I hadn't been using some of these features is because I just didn't know about them. Or maybe I knew about them, but I didn't know the commands to make it work. The HomePod is a tiny fraction of what makes Apple money, so it's going to take time for Apple to catch up to the competition if they ever even do catch up. But in the meantime, there are already a lot of great uses and reasons to own one or more HomePods. Obviously, these HomePod uses are just the surface of what HomePods can do, and I'm sure there are ones that you may use that I didn't think of. So please let me know what those are in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.